Let's fire it and see what happens. Oh. That's nice. G'day people, I'm MonsterDad and welcome back to our Space Engineer Season 2. Sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I've released any episodes. I've been pretty busy with the test phase of the new Empyrean Galactic Survival Ultimate Ironman competition. Yeah, and the first couple of weeks of that competition is always a bit hectic and a bit of a time sink, unfortunately, but it's good fun. Anyway, I'm in my weapons platform control room. So I've been getting onto the game over the past couple of weeks just to get this weapons testing platform ready. Yeah, it's down there and I've got quite a lot of the weapons on it now. Let me pop on my helmet. This control room's excuse me, oxygenated. It's joined onto the base, but there's no access via the base. It's just access around about there. So here's the platform as it stands at the moment. So extended it by 2 more. I thought about going further, but I figured what we'll do is I think I've got most of the vanilla weapon. I've got all the vanilla weapons and most of the CMD. No, the mech specs. Which ones have I got? I think this is mech specs. Yeah, most of the mech specs weapons on there ready to test. I've put a little label next to each one as to which one they are. This is the Telion Heavy Defense. This monster down here is the Mark II battleship cannon. There's a couple of the inline weapons I've put on here as well. I know we can't really aim those from this thing, but so what I've done is I've tried to... Oh, that one might be a bit high. I tried to build a... Oh, yeah. I tried to build something out there that I could just shoot straight at it, and for each one of these, I think that one should be okay. What's this one? This is a Mark 1 battery. Now, I want to test a couple of the... This is a monster, this one, the magnetic coil cannon. So I built a load of... Can't see them, but I built a load of targets out there at various distances. So when we swing this around, we should, with the ones that we can control from our control station, we should be able to zoom in towards the target and try and hit it from there. So yeah, so what I want to do first is test a couple of these inline ones, see if we can hit these targets. I made one set of ammunition for each of the weapons. That's all loaded. The conveyor system works nicely. Apart from the interior turret, I think that needs a small conveyor system to load that, so I had to load that one manually, but that's not a problem. But I mean, we pretty much know how the vanilla weapons work anyway, how well they work, but I thought for completeness it's probably worth putting them on here. Primary purpose of this is serving a purpose apart from having a bit of fun shooting stuff. I want to decide which weapon loadout to put onto the battleship armaments. Now, some of the big battleship cannons that sort of only have about a 45-degree firing arc, what I'm thinking of doing is loading them forward of the battleship, so there'll be a row of those, so when we're coming towards a target we can actually use the battleship cannons from a long distance. From a long distance to try and soften up the enemy before we move in to present broadsides to start targeting then. On the broadside, what I'm thinking of doing is have a variety of weapons. For instance, this Telion anti-fighter would be good against small ships. We'd have, you know, so one section of the battleship broadside would consist of a certain loadout of weapons. Then we would just repeat that maybe half a dozen times along the length of the battleship. So you could have, for instance, one of these maybe one of the vanilla Gatling cannons, because they're quite good at taking. They're a good mix of taking out missiles, stroke rockets, or taking out small ships, because they're a good rapid fire weapon at a good mid range, as is this. And then you've got the Telian flak turret. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be, really. What's the other one? We've got the anti-missile turret. So maybe we would, if this looks like it's going to be good, we would perhaps lose the vanilla Gatling and have the anti-missile turret and the anti-fighter turret as part of the broadside. And then the other part of the broadside would be something like these heavy defense cannons that have a good firing arc. They can come out right the way up to the 90-degree mark, so that they have a really good range of fire, or good wide firing arc. So they'd be good on a broadside, because it means you can get to better positions with the broadside than you can with these big weapons. And then finally, as we pull alongside an enemy, what we could have are an array of these inline weapons. For instance, the vanilla rocket launchers, or these inline batteries. So basically you pull up alongside an enemy, bang in line, and then all of these fire at once, and you just unleash a hail of rockets or a hail of battery from these inline weapons that would devastate the enemy at fairly close range. So you can maneuver around with these kind of things around the enemy and still be firing at them, protect yourself against incoming missiles or incoming fighters, and then unleash hell with these things as you pull in alongside. Yeah, and that's kind of what we want. I'm not sure how useful the magnetic coil would be, but I guess we'll find out. So what I want to do is fire these inline ones at the moment, because I've set these sort of like close range targets there, just so we could try and see what kind of damage they do. So let's get back into our control station. Take my helmet off. This here is just to turn the weapons platform when we want to change the firing weapon, the weapons we're going to fire forward. Okay, so let's start off with this one down here, the one that's facing to our left. That is the Mark 1 battery, isn't it? So all I can do with that one really is just put it on shoot. These are all orange, so they're really easy to find because there's a rotor that's connected to them. They show up as a separate grid, so they're really easy to find. So I think that one is the Mark 1 battery. So I guess all we can do really with that one is just press shoot, and let's see what, in fact, in its inventory. So the Mark 1 battery has one canister in there, a shell stack in there, so we'll see how many shots it fires when we press shoot on this one. So let's go. Oh, wow. So it fired once. It might take a while to reload. We need to catch that because I want to see it. Well, you can see all these are made of heavy armor as well. It didn't penetrate the armor, that's for certain. So it looks like that's expended all of its ammunition. So it's just a one shot per shell stack in that one. So it was the Mark 1, yeah. So it's one shot per shell stack in that one, and that was the Mark 1 battery. That used a 330mm HE shell stack. Let's see how expensive that is, because this is important as well. So 330, that's the one there. So 0.03 uranium, 0.02 platinum. Not particularly expensive. A lot of iron, but yeah, not hugely expensive. Considering they'd only be fired probably once during combat, and that's when you pull in alongside the enemy ship and you fire that final inline broadside. So I wouldn't expect that to be expending a lot of ammunition anyway. It would be really good to get out and see what kind of damage that did. I wonder if we can catch up with it. So it went that away. I don't think we're going to be able to catch up with it, are we? Or find it. I was hoping these would register as bases and not move when they were hit. But no, we're not going to find that. But it didn't look like it penetrated it. I can certainly play back the footage, as can you, to see whether that actually happened. But not to worry. We'll just have to try and maneuver the camera around for the others so that we can see or try and get a good idea of the result. So, you know, I mean, I guess we could do something like one shot per stack. That gives us the information we need with regards to ammunition, the you know, the amount of ammunition it requires. Oops. Close the airlock door. Close the airlock door. So which one do we want to fire next? The other two are facing this way. So we've got the rockets. Are we going to be able to see the result of that? Can't see the little platform I made. Or maybe I made it too far away. Let's just fire them and find out. Let's fire the vanilla rockets next. So rocket launcher, that's the one. Again, I think I've put one. Oh, it's actually got 47 in there. Really, I only want one. I can't take it out, can I? Oh, darn it. We'll just shoot once and see what happens. Okay. Well, it missed its target. It's still going. Well, it hit something. Or oh no. Well, I think it got to the end of its range and exploded, didn't it? So, I mean, but we know the kind of damage that the rocket launcher does. It would be useful to put a platform in front of that. I might do that for next time, just so we can actually see the damage that does. Let's try with this Mark II battery. Can we get a good angle on that one? There it is there. I'd love to be able to see the platform that we're firing at, because that one, I think that one might be in line. Let's have a look. Let's fire it and find out. So let's just go to the inventory a moment and look at the rocket launcher. Yeah, it fired one stack, but we knew that. We knew that expended one stack from experience anyway. So it's Mark II battery, I think, the next one. No, maybe it wasn't. Cetelion dual battery, that's the one. So we can't control this one because it's an inline weapon. 428 shield, yeah, okay. Okay, well, let's turn it on for the shooting and see what it does. Didn't shoot. Or did it? And we're just too far away to see it happen. Cetelion dual battery. Oh, we didn't press one. What did we press then? Okay, let's try it again then. Oh, it's a lovely sound. So it fires twice, one from each battery. Well, that's a really nice sound though, isn't it? Let's have a look at the inventory. Yeah, so it's expended, so one stack is 2 shots. And how expensive are the stacks on that one? Dual battery, it's 420 HE. I'm getting to know where these things are now as well. So that's 0.8 uranium, 0.3 platinum. That's quite expensive. It would be really good to know how much damage that does. We're going to have to make sure we can do something to test that. I'll have to think about a way to do that. I really want to see how much damage those things do, especially the ones that cost a bit more. So that's the inline weapons tested. Let's have a look at what have we got here. Let's go with this heavy defense turret, or should we go with one of the big guns? Oh, let's go with that Mark II battery, see if we can see one of the targets with it. Where are you? Mark. I thought it was Mark II battery. Battery. It's the battleship cannon Mark II round base. Okay, so let's control that. Can we see any of our targets? Or have I put them too far away? Targets are down there. I need to spin round to the left slightly, don't I? So to the right slightly to be able to target one of those. Or have I got a 9? Oh, I've got a 900 meter target over there, and this has got a 1,000 meter range. Oh, I wish you could see the target. Okay, well, you know, we're sort of on it. It's about there. Let's fire it and see what happens. Oh. That's nice. I'm going to have to put the targets closer so we can see what kind of damage it does, I guess. Yeah, just one shot. Let's fly over to that mark and see if it actually hit it. I'll be interested to know if the target's still there or if it's disappeared somewhere. Let's put our jetpack on. We know, a helmet. And the jetpack. Let's head out there. So it was the 900 meter mark it was aiming at, that one. So it's over here somewhere. Right, okay. Where is it? Well, there was something here, so it hit it. Whatever it was. Which is actually really good to know, even though we can't see the damage it did, because it was only a 3x3 target. And to hit that at 900 meters is actually pretty good targeting. So we know that this thing can hit a target, a small target, at long range. But it doesn't have... Yeah, so it can hit things at long range. I just want to see its... I've forgotten how big its firing arc is. Let's get back onto the control chair for a moment. I'm firing most of these for the first time, by the way. I haven't fired any of these off camera. So it's this one here, isn't it? I just want to battery is that one. Let's control that. I just want to see how wide its firing arc is. So that's as far as it will go up. Yeah, so it's only like a 45-degree firing arc, so it wouldn't be much use as a broadside weapon. only as a weapon as you're approaching at long range. Okay, which I guess is what it's kind of for, isn't it? Okay, let's try this heavy defense turret, the one that's above it. That's the one. It's 850 meter. So this one has, I think, a 90-degree. Yeah, so that one can go straight out. So as a broadside weapon, that one is perfect. Absolutely perfect. What do we call it? Heavy defense turret. And it's got one stack in it at the moment. I don't think we're going to be able to see any of these targets. Where's the closest target? I did put one at 600 meters. Can't see that one either, can we? There's one at 6 and one at 7 close by it. Let's take a shot that way and see what happens. Well, it hit something, that's for sure. I think this one gets, what, 4 shots per stack? Yeah, 5 shots per stack. That's nice to know. Let's go make a note of that because that's really important. Probably should have put this door, in hindsight, on the front of the control center so I could just whip straight down here. Yeah, that is a definite. That is a definite for the broadsides. Five shot per stack. Cool beans. Good. Let's head out towards our marker and see if it actually hits something. So this is the 600 meter marker and it's the pad's gone. Okay, so it hit it. Did it do collateral damage on the 700 meter one, I wonder? Yeah, it looks like it did. Okay, so it sort of missed the 600 meter target and ended up hitting the 700 meter target as well, somewhere along the line. So they've all disappeared. They haven't been obliterated because they're all heavy armor. They've just sort of floated away into the ether. But definitely accurate enough as a broadside, because the broadsides, the way I see them being used, are within 400 or 500 meters of your enemy ship. So at that range, this is going to hit something, without a doubt. It's going to hit something. Cool beans. Okay, let's get back in and fire something else. I want to fire this magnetic core gun actually. Might as well not bother turning the platform actually. There are no targets left for it to hit. Let's just give it a fire and see how it looks. So magnetic, it takes a magnetic core slug, I think it was. Looks pretty cool. That's it. Yeah, 460mm magnetic slug, 6.6 platinum and 20 uranium ingots, 500 iron ingots. Holy shamoly Batman, that is expensive. Wow. What range has it got? Just 800 meters. For ammunition that expensive, I would have expected something with a slightly more range than that. Okay, what's its firing arc? Looks like a 45-degree firing arc. Yeah. So again, we're as limited as we are with that battleship cannon. Less range than a battleship cannon. Incredibly expensive ammunition. Let's see what it looks like. I wish I could. I'm going to have to build a target. I think what I might do is because we're underneath the asteroid here, I might actually build targets down attached to the asteroid. That way they're not going to float off, and we can actually see. Okay, it's going to be close range, but at least we'll be able to see what kind of damage these things do. Let's see what it looks like. I imagine it's just going to be one shot per slug. Wow, that's expensive. Okay, let's go. Oh, it just sounds wonderful. Wow, that takes a long time to reload as well. That's got to be a 30 to 45 second reload time. And I don't even know if there's any. I'm not sure how many shots we get out of this per slug. I would have thought one. Let's try, see if we get another shot. No. That is an expensive weapon. Yeah. Very, very expensive. So we tested the 4 on the bottom. Let's look at that flak cannon. So I think that's the flak shells, yeah, 40mm flak shells. Just magnesium iron, they're pretty cheap. Now I think remember this one's got a pretty short range. 500 meter. So I'm assuming it just behaves exactly like a flak weapon, in that it just shoots a weapon, explodes in the general vicinity of your target and fires off a load of shrapnel everywhere. So kind of a dual purpose anti-fighter, anti-missile weapon. Yeah, sort of. So there's nothing, no huge accuracy on it. It just fires off huge amounts of rounds in a general vicinity of something. Not sure how useful that would be, but it had a lot of shots though. Cheap ammunition, lots of shots. Okay. Jury's out on that one. Jury is out. And then we've got the anti-fighter and anti-missile turrets left as well. Let's give those a crack. Antis. Let's look at the anti-fighter. Range 850. Let's not fire it at the other weapons, shall we? Let's fire it at the asteroid if we can. Yeah, it's out of ammo. Yeah, it takes quite a bit of ammo actually, by the looks of it, to fire it, but it's a really rapid fire. I mean, I was pressing the button quite slowly there, but it was obviously quite a rapid fire weapon. And then let's try the anti-missile, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty much... Oh, it's a much shorter range, okay. Very fast turret. What can we fire it at? I'll just fire it out there. Holy schmo, that is a really rapid fire weapon. That had a lot of shots for that one stack. What did we have? That was the anti-missile, wasn't it? Can you configure them? Yeah, you can configure them to shoot at small ships as well. So you could actually, probably not very good range to be an anti-fighter turret. But if someone's shooting rockets at you, that is a pretty good one. 20 times 102 mil NATO belt. That's that one there. Quite a lot magnesium and iron, but magnesium and iron are easy to get. Okay. So I think that's all of them tested, apart from the vanilla weapons, which I don't think we really need to test. We use those a lot anyway. So that's the mech-specs stuff. From that, my initial thought would be the heavy defense turret, that one in the center there, would be a definite addition to the broadside. The anti-fighter and anti-missile turrets, I think I would have both of those. Magnetic coil gun, although I love the thought of it, it's just too expensive, the ammunition. It takes an enormous amount of time to reload. The range isn't that good compared to the battleship cannon. So I think I'd use the battleship cannons for sort of weapons mounted maybe fore and aft of the ship. And inline, I think we get more bang for our buck with the dual battery, Telion dual battery, than we do for the Mark 1 battery. So you could have a line of those, and maybe even the cheap vanilla rocket systems, lining maybe just above the center line, one line above, one line below of the center line of the broadside, and as you pull up alongside an enemy ship, you just unleash, you press one button, and the whole line of rockets and batteries fire at once, piling an enormous amount of firepower into the side of an enemy ship. That would be spectacular. Spectacular. Okay, so yeah, so Telion dual battery, the heavy defense turret, the anti-fighter and anti-missile turrets, and the vanilla rockets, I think, would be what I would choose from that array of weapons there. Definitely. I'm going to play around between episodes and try and figure out some way to get some stationary targets sorted. I'll probably hang some targets down from the asteroid. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it. And at the end of the target, in line with the weapons, would be some a section made out of heavy armor, and then we can just blast some short range fire into those, and we'll see what kind of damage they actually do. And from that, we can make a final decision. But I also want to test some of the CMD Bob weapons as well. Wrong button. Oh, that is the right button. No, it's not the right button. What I need to do is get out of that chair. Yeah, because the CMD Bob has a huge array of weapons. Half of them are for small ships, so I think the mech spec ones I think look better, have a better look and feel about them as battleship weapons. They've got that grey, old, worn-out feel, that heavy weapon type feel, whereas the CMD Bobs are a bit like newy, shiny type. So what we might do is, I still need to design some kind of fighter as well, and what I might do is test the small ship weapons from CMD Bobs and decide what weapons we're going to put on a fighter. Yeah, I think that would be the good way to go with that. So mech specs for the battleship, CMD Bob for fighters. Okay. Alright, well I think I've probably hit about the right amount of time there now. Hope you found that interesting. I found it really useful, really interesting. I like playing around with the modded weapons. Oops. Let's get back into the O2. Yeah. Cool. I didn't have to spin the platform this time, but I will have to once I hang some proper targets down. I'll need to spin it around then, so the rotor won't be wasted. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm Monster Dad, and I'll see you in the next episode. Later.